This is June 22nd, 2022. The book is called The Shield of Europe, Notes from Ukraine. And I'm going to be presenting a few of the chapters while I'm here in Lviv. I've been revising, and I'll be putting it out when I get back to the States. All of the proceeds will go to a Ukraine fund to do what we can for the folks that have been most affected by this war. A few of them. This chapter is called Ali-Foreman. I first wrote it in Nikolaev on the 3rd of June, and I did some revision while I was here. In my opinion, the Ali-Foreman fight is the best heavyweight fight in the history of the sport. If we consider the fight briefly, you might understand why I bring it up. If you know nothing about boxing, but can at least stomach the sport, you might go back and watch the fight highlights. It only takes a few minutes. And as a note, it probably goes at the end of the chapter, I have nothing personally against George Foreman, quite the contrary. He was the 1968 heavyweight Olympic gold medal champion. At that point, at the playing of the national anthem, he raised an American flag in his right hand, while other black athletes in the same Olympic Games were raising black-gloved fists and hanging their heads. I've felt affection and admiration for Foreman ever since. By 1974, Foreman had torn through the heavyweight division. In 2 fights, he had destroyed Joe Frazier, who'd beaten Ali in a close 15-round fight, decided by decision. Foreman was massive and supremely powerful, with devastating knockout power. His fight with Ali, which took place in Zaire, was big news at the time, not just sports news. People feared for Ali's life. For his part, Ali approached the fight calmly, seemingly confidently, and without fear. In the early rounds, the commentators seem to think the fight is close. Some think Foreman is winning. While he never staggers Ali with a blow to the head, he repeatedly gets Ali against the ropes and seemingly pummels his midsection, blows that Ali seems to take well, but which it's thought might be doing damage and taking their toll. Almost all of the blows towards Ali's head, Ali deflects by taking them on his arms. Meanwhile, Ali looks for his opportunities when Foreman's guard is down to deliver short, stabbing jabs to Foreman's face. What you might easily miss in watching the highlights is the way Ali repeatedly pulls Foreman's head close to him, seemingly whispering into his ear. He was, it turns out, talking and whispering to Foreman. He was getting inside his head, getting him off his game and shaking his confidence. By the 6th and 7th rounds, the commentators, including Joe Frazier, seem to get it. They watch Foreman now flailing away against Ali's body as Ali leans back into the soft ropes, always keeping his head and face well protected, continuing to take blows to his arms and midsection, blows that are clearly having less and less effect. On occasion, Ali still picks his spots to deliver those short, sharp jabs to Foreman's unprotected face. The final blows come in the 8th round. Foreman continues his flailing body shots. Then near the end of the round, Ali steps away and delivers a series of powerful jabs, none of them individually devastating punches, but well aimed. And with the final one, Foreman staggers back and falls, while Ali watches closely, not seeking to deliver any additional blows as Foreman falls, just watching to make sure that the job has been done. From the canvas, Foreman takes deep, heaving breaths, as though more exhausted than knocked out. He is counted out. In fact, Foreman had been destroyed as a boxer. He didn't begin a comeback until 12 years later at the age of 38. In several weight classes, Ukraine boasts some of the best boxers in the world. The mayor of Kyiv, Vitaly Klitschko, together with his twin brother, Vladimir, dominated the heavyweight division for most of the first decade of the millennium. There is I believe, middleweight named Lomachenko who fights so beautifully. When you watch his fights, you're watching performances that transcend the sport, that seem to include elements of ballet and gymnastics and theater. He routinely leaves his opponents in tears on their stools, able but unwilling to continue. Then there is Alexander Usyk, who first came to dominate the light heavyweight division, and now, having beefed up somewhat, is among the best heavyweights in the world. All these men share certain characteristics. They're good sportsmen. They never ridicule or humiliate their opponents. They never boast. They never talk about eating anybody's children or how ugly their opponent is. None of them is the strongest or the hardest puncher. They fight smart, having mastered this, their chosen profession, especially mastering the art of evasion. They master each opponent, taking blows where they will do the least damage, wearing out the opponent until he finally collapses. One more thing about the Ali-Foreman fight. All those blows to Ali's midsection and liver certainly did do damage, perhaps lasting and permanent damage. Lviv, June 22nd.